I want you to listen carefully, for the words I speak are not my own, but rather the echoes of an eternal truth that has been whispered throughout the ages. This truth, my dear friends, is that your imagination is the very gateway to the reality you experience. It is the God-given power within you, the creative force that shapes your world. When I say believe you can, and you are halfway there, I am not speaking of a mere mental exercise or a fleeting moment of positive thinking. No, I am referring to a state of consciousness, a profound inner knowing that transcends all doubt and limitation. This belief, this unwavering faith in your desired outcome, is the very substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not yet seen in the physical realm. Consider for a moment the implications of this statement. If belief alone can propel you halfway towards your goal, then it stands to reason that the remaining distance is but a matter of allowing that belief to fully manifest in your experience. This is the essence of what I have long taught, that your outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner assumptions and beliefs. Let us delve deeper into this concept. When you truly believe you can achieve something, you have already created it in the realm of imagination. And make no mistake, the imagination is not some fanciful playground of idle thoughts. It is the very workshop of creation. It is in this inner world that all things find their origin before they are made manifest in the physical realm. Now, some of you may be thinking, but never have believed in things before, and they did not come to pass. To this I say, examine the nature of your belief. Was it a fleeting hope, a mere wish tossed into the universe, like a penny into a wishing well? Or was it an unshakable knowing, a conviction so strong that you lived from the joy, experiencing the joy and satisfaction of your desire fulfilled even before its physical manifestation? You see, my dear friends, the power of belief lies not in its density, but in its consistency and the feeling it evokes within you. When you truly believe you can accomplish something, you begin to embody the state of the wish fulfillment. You walk, talk, and breathe as though your desire has already been realized. This is not pretense or self-deception. It is the highest form of faith, the kind that moves mountains and parts seas. Let me illustrate this with a simple example. Imagine you desire a new job, one that fills you with purpose and provides outlet. The conventional approach would be to search for openings, send out applications, and hope for the best. But this is not the way of the awakened imagination. Instead, I urge you to assume the feeling of already having this ideal job. As you lay in your bed at night, feel the satisfaction of a day well spent in your new position. Experience the joy of making a difference through your work. Feel the gratitude for the abundant compensation you receive. Live in this state night after night until it becomes your dominant feeling, your new reality. What you are doing in this exercise is far more powerful than any action you could take in the outer world. You are impressing upon your subconscious mind, the faithful servant that brings your assumptions to life, that the reality of your wish fulfilled, and your subconscious being intimately connected with the infinite intelligence that governs the universe will set in motion a series of events to bring about the physical manifestation of your imaginal act. This, my friends, is the true meaning of believe you can, and you are halfway there. Your belief, when it reaches the level of absolute conviction, creates a bridge between your present circumstances and your desired state. It sets the stage for the miracle of manifestation to occur. But let me be clear, this is not about forcing changes in the outer world through sheer willpower. It is about changing your concept of self, your inner conversation, and your dominant feeling state. When you do this, the outer world has no choice but to conform to your new self-concept. For the outer is always a reflection of the inner. Now, some of you may be wondering, but what about action? Surely we must do something to achieve our goals. And to this I say, inspired action will naturally flow from your changed state of consciousness. When you truly believe in the reality of desire, you will find yourself moved to take steps that align with that reality. These actions will not feel like hard work or struggle, but rather like an effortless unfolding of events leading you to your desired end. Remember, The outer world is plastic and receptive to your inner assumptions. It is constantly being shaped and reshaped by the contents of your consciousness. Therefore, the most important work you can do is not in the outer world, but in the inner world of your imagination and beliefs. Let us pause for a moment and reflect on this profound truth. Close your eyes, if you will, and contemplate the goal that burns brightest in your heart. Perhaps it's a loving relationship, financial abundance, perfect health, or a fulfilling career. Whatever it may be, I want you to imagine, just for a moment, that you have already achieved this goal. Feel the emotions that would accompany this achievement. Experience the joy, the satisfaction, the peace that comes with the realization of your desire. As you sit there, embodying the feeling of your wish fulfilled, know that you are engaging in the highest form of creative prayer. You are declaring to the universe, this is who I am. This is my reality. And the universe, in its infinite wisdom and perfect law, must respond to this declaration. Now open your eyes and carry this feeling with you. Let it infuse your thoughts, your words, and your actions. For in doing so, you are living from the end. And this is the secret to bringing your desires into manifestation. But I caution you, do not be discouraged if you do not see immediate results in the outer world. Remember, you are dealing with the invisible realm of causes, not the visible world of effects. Your task is to remain faithful to your imaginal act, to persist in the assumption that what you desire is already yours. This persistence, this unwavering faith in the face of contrary evidence, is what separates those who master the art of conscious creation from those who remain at the mercy of circumstance. It is easy to believe when all outer conditions support your belief. But it is in those moments when your senses deny your assumption that your faith is truly tested and strengthened. In the Bible, we find a perfect illustration of this principle in the story of Joshua and the walls of Jericho. For 6 days, Joshua and his army marched around the fortified city, blowing their trumpets, but seeing no change in the impenetrable walls. It would have been easy to doubt, to question the sanity of their actions. But they persisted in their faith. And on the 7th day, the walls came tumbling down. This, my dear friends, is the power of persistent assumption. The walls in your life, whether they be financial limitations, health challenges, or relationship obstacles, are no more real or permanent than the walls of Jericho. They are simply projections of your past assumptions and beliefs. And just as Joshua's persistent faith brought down physical walls, your unwavering belief in your desired state will cause the walls in your life to crumble and fall. But remember, it is not the physical act of marching or blowing trumpets that brings down the walls. It is the inner conviction, the absolute faith that the walls must fall because God has decreed it so. And who is this God that decrees such things? It is own wonderful human imagination, the divine spark within you, that has the power to shape reality itself. Now let us address a common misconception. Many believe that to achieve their goals, they must wrestle with current circumstances, fight against what is, and struggle mightily to effect change. But I tell you, this approach is not only exhausting, but also counterproductive. For in fighting against your current reality, you are giving power, acknowledging its permanence, and thus perpetuating its existence. Instead, I urge you to adopt a different approach. Rather than fighting against what is, simply assume that what you desire to be is already a fact. Live from that assumption and watch as your outer world begins to shift and change to match your inner conviction. This, my friends, is the true meaning of the phrase, the battle is not yours, but God's. The battle is not fought in the outer world of effects, but in the inner world of causes. Your task is not to make things happen, but to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and allow the infinite intelligence within you to bring about its manifestation in ways that you may not even be able to imagine. Let me share with you a personal experience that illustrates this principle. Many years ago, I found myself in dire financial straits. Bills were piling up, and opportunities seemed scarce. The temptation to worry and struggle was great. But instead of succumbing to anxiety and frantic action, I chose to apply the principle I am sharing with you today. Each night, as I lay in my bed, I assumed the feeling of financial abundance. I felt the joy of paying my bills with ease. I experienced the satisfaction of helping others from my overflow. I lived in my imagination as a man of wealth and generosity. I persisted in this assumption, night after night, regardless of the seeming lack in my outer world. And then, my friends, the miracle unfolded. Within a matter of weeks, opportunities began to present themselves. A forgotten debt was repaid. An unexpected speaking engagement came my way. My financial situation transformed so rapidly and dramatically that those around me were astounded. But I knew the source of this transformation. It was not luck or chance, but the natural result of my changed consciousness. This experience taught me a valuable lesson that our outer world is nothing more than a shadow, a reflection of our inner assumptions. Change the assumption, and the shadow must change. This is the law as exact and unfailing as any law in physics. Now I can hear some of you thinking, but Neville, surely it can't be that simple. There must be more to it than just believing. And to this I say, yes, it is that simple. And no, there is nothing more to it. But simple does not mean easy. The challenge lies not in the complexity of the process, but in your ability to persist in your assumption in the face of contradictory evidence. You see, when you first begin to apply this principle, your senses will rebel. They will shout at you, presenting evidence that seems to contradict your new assumption. This is the moment when many falter, when they abandon their imaginal act and return to their old patterns of thought and belief. But I urge you, my dear friends, to stand firm in these moments. Remember that your senses can only show you the effects of past beliefs and assumptions. They cannot peer into the invisible realm of causes where your new assumption is taking root and beginning to grow. Think of it like planting a seed in the ground. Once you've planted the seed, you don't dig it up every day to check on its progress. You trust in the invisible processes of nature to nurture that seed and bring it to fruition. In the same way, once you've planted the seed of your desire in the fertile soil of your imagination, trust in the invisible processes of creation to bring it to manifestation. This trust, this unwavering faith, is what Jesus referred to when he said, therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours. Notice the tense used here, believe that you have received it, not that you will receive it. This is the secret of living from the end, of experiencing the reality of your desire in your imagination before it manifests in the physical world. Now let's delve deeper into the practical application of this principle. How do you cultivate this level of belief, this unwavering faith in your desired outcome? The key lies in your ability to create and sustain a particular feeling state. You see, my friends, your subconscious mind does not understand words in the way your conscious mind does. It responds to feelings, to emotions, to the sensory vividness of your imaginal acts. Therefore, to impress your desire upon your subconscious, you must feel the reality of it with all the intensity you can muster. Let's say, for example, that you desire a loving, harmonious relationship. It's not enough to simply repeat affirmations or visualize scenes of togetherness. You must feel the love, the warmth, the deep connection as though it were already a reality in your life. As you lie in your bed at night, feel the presence of your beloved beside you. Experience the comfort of their embrace, the sound of their loving words, the joy of shared laughter. Make this imaginal act so real, so vivid, that when you open your eyes, you're almost surprised to find yourself alone. This is the level of sensory vividness, of emotional intensity, that impresses your desire upon your subconscious mind and sets the wheels of manifestation in motion. But remember, this is not a one-time exercise. You must return to this state night after night, regardless of what your outer circumstances may be showing you. For it is your persistence, your ability to maintain your assumption in the face of contrary evidence that demonstrates your faith and brings your desire into manifestation. Now, some of you may be wondering, but what if I can't sustain this feeling? What if doubts creep in? My dear friends, doubts are natural. They are the protest of your senses, the habits of your old consciousness asserting themselves. Do not fight these doubts, for in fighting them, you give them power. Instead, gently but firmly return to your center. Redirect your attention to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Think of it like training a puppy. When the puppy wanders off, you don't scold it or become frustrated. You simply gently bring it back to where you want it to be. In the same way, when your mind wanders into doubt or negative thinking, gently but firmly bring it back to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This practice, this constant returning to the state of your wish fulfilled, is what is meant a biblical injunction to pray without ceasing. It doesn't mean to constantly repeat words or petitions, but to maintain a state of consciousness, a feeling state that aligns with your desire. As you practice this, you will find that it becomes easier and more natural. What once required effort will become your default state. You will begin to live from the assumption of your wish fulfilled, and as you do, you will witness the miraculous unfolding of events in your outer world to match your inner conviction. But I caution you, do not become attached to the way in which your desire manifests. Your role is to assume the state of the wish fulfilled. It is not to dictate the means by which it comes about. The infinite intelligence that responds to your assumption knows far better than your conscious mind how to bring your desire into manifestation. Trust in this intelligence. Allow it to work on your behalf. Your job is simply to maintain your assumption, to live from the end, and to be open and receptive to the opportunities and circumstances that will inevitably arise to bridge the gap between your current reality and your desired state. Now let's address another important aspect of this principle. When I say believe you can and you are halfway there, I'm not suggesting that you should believe in your ability to make something happen. Rather, I'm urging you to believe in the present reality of your desire. You see, there's a subtle but crucial difference here. When you believe in your ability to achieve something, you are still placing your desire in the future, still seeing it as something to be attained. But when you believe in the present reality of your desire, you are acknowledging it as an already existing fact, simply awaiting your recognition and acceptance. This shift in perspective is powerful. It moves you from a state of wanting or needing to a state of having and being. And it is from this state of having and being that true creation occurs. Consider the biblical story of creation. God did not say, "Let there be light, and I hope it will come to pass." No, the declaration was clear and absolute: "Let there be light," and light was. This is the model of creation we are called to emulate. We are to declare the reality of our desire with the same absolute certainty, the same unwavering conviction. When you do this, when you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled with complete faith, you are exercising your divine creative power. You are aligning yourself with the very force that created the universe. And that same force will move heaven and earth to bring your assumption into physical manifestation. But remember, my dear friends, with great power comes great responsibility. As you begin to grasp the magnitude of this creative principle, you must also cultivate wisdom and discernment in its use. For just as you can create experiences of joy, abundance, and fulfillment, you can also, through misuse of this power, create experiences of lack, limitation, and suffering. Therefore, I urge you to be mindful of your thoughts, your inner conversations, and most importantly, your habitual feeling states. For these are the seeds from which your future experiences will grow. Plant wisely. Tend to your mental garden with care, and you will reap a harvest beyond your wildest dreams. Now let us return to our central theme: believe you can and you are halfway there. As we've explored, this belief is not a mere intellectual assent to a possibility. It is a profound, unshakable knowing, a state of consciousness that aligns you with the creative power of the universe. When you truly believe, when you live from the assumption of you're fulfilled, you set in motion forces beyond your comprehension. You activate a law as certain as gravity, a principle as reliable as the rising and setting of the sun. This law, this principle is that consciousness is the only reality. And what you assume as truly your consciousness must inevitably express itself in your outer world. But here's a crucial point that many miss. The power lies not in the belief itself, but in the feeling that the belief engenders. Your subconscious mind, the faithful servant that brings your assumptions to life, responds not to words or mental images alone, but being associated with those words and images. This is why it's so important to make your imaginal acts as vivid and emotionally charged as possible. When you imagine your desire fulfilled, feel the joy, the gratitude, the sense of accomplishment that would accompany its realization. Let these feelings permeate your entire being, for it is these feelings that impress your desire upon your subconscious and set the wheels of manifestation in motion. Now, some of you may be thinking, but Neville, I've tried this before, and it didn't work. To this, I say, examine the nature of your attempt. Did you truly live from the end, consistently maintaining the feeling of your wish fulfilled? Or did you merely engage in periodic visualization or affirmation, all the while holding on to your old beliefs and assumptions? You see, my friends, this principle is not a technique to be applied sporadically. It is a way of life, a fundamental shift in how you relate to reality itself. It requires persistence, patience, and above all, faith. Not blind faith in some external power, but faith in the creative power of your own consciousness. Let me share with you another personal experience that illustrates this point. Many years ago, I found myself in New York, broke and unemployed, longing to return to my home in Barbados. But I had no money for passage, and my family, struggling themselves, could not help me. Instead of succumbing to despair, I applied the principle we're discussing today. Each night as I lay in my bed, I assumed the feeling of being in Barbados. I felt the tropical breeze on my skin, heard the familiar sounds of my homeland, experienced the joy of reuniting with my family. I lived in my imagination as though I were already there. I persisted in this assumption night after night, regardless of my outer circumstances. And then, my friend, the miracle unfolded. Within a matter of weeks, I received a letter from my brother containing the exact amount of money I needed for my passage home. The circumstances that led to this were so unlikely, so unexpected, that to the outside observer, it would have seemed like pure chance or coincidence. But I knew better. I knew that this was the natural, inevitable result of my changed consciousness. By assuming the feeling of my wish fulfilled, I had set in motion a series of events that led to its physical manifestation. This experience taught me a valuable lesson that our outer world is infinitely more malleable, more responsive to our inner state than we have been led to believe. It showed me that when we change our concept of self, when we assume a new state of consciousness, the entire universe conspires to reflect back to us that new self-concept. Now, I want to address a question that often arises when I share these teachings. Many ask, but what about other people? Surely we can't control their actions or decisions. And to this I say, you are not seeking to control others. You are aligning yourself with a state of consciousness in which your desire is already fulfilled. And in doing so, you will find that people and circumstances naturally arrange themselves to match your assumption. You see, other people in your life are not separate from you in the way you might think. In a very real sense, they are playing roles in the drama of your consciousness. As you shift your consciousness, as you assume a new state of being, you will find that others naturally respond in ways that support your new assumption. This is not manipulation or control. It is simply the outworking of a universal law, that your outer world must conform to your inner assumptions. As you change your concept of self, as you live from the state of your wish fulfilled, you will find that the entire world reshapes itself to match your new self-concept. But remember, this principle is not about imposing your will on others or the world around you. It's about aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe, about allowing your desires to manifest in harmony with the highest good of all concerned. When you operate from this level of consciousness, you'll find that your manifestations unfold in ways that are often far more wonderful than you could have imagined or planned. Now let us delve even deeper into the practical application of this principle. How do you maintain your assumption, your belief, in the face of contrary evidence? How do you persist when your senses scream that what you're assuming isn't true? The key, my dear friends, lies in understanding the nature of time. You see, time as we experience it in the physical world is an illusion. In the realm of consciousness, in the world of imagination, all possibilities exist simultaneously. The state you desire to experience is not something in the future. It exists now in this eternal present moment. Your task is simply to shift your consciousness to align with that state. Think of it like tuning a radio. All stations are broadcasting simultaneously, but you can only hear the one to which your radio is tuned. In the same way, all possible states of being are available to you right now. By assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are tuning your consciousness to the frequency of desire. But here's the crucial point: you must stay tuned to that frequency. You must persist in your assumption, regardless of what your senses or your current circumstances are telling you. This persistence, this unwavering faith, is what bridges the gap between your current reality and your desired state. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, but Neville, this sounds like self-deception. Aren't we just fooling ourselves? To this I say, what you call self-deception is actually the highest form of truth. For in assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are availing yourself a reality that already exists in the realm of infinite possibilities. Remember, your current reality is nothing more than the outpicturing of your past assumptions and beliefs. It has no more permanence or reality than the state you desire to experience. The only difference is that you're giving the power of your belief far beyond the magnificent. But the moment you shift your belief, the moment you begin to live from the assumption of your wish fulfilled, you set in motion a new sequence of events. You activate a new pattern of manifestation. And if you persist in this new assumption, it must inevitably express itself in your outer world. This, my friends, is the true meaning of faith. It is not blind belief in something unseen. It is the evidence of things not seen, the substance of things hoped for. When you have true faith, when you live from the state of your wish fulfilled, you are not hoping for something to happen in the future. You are acknowledging a reality that already exists and allowing it to express itself in your experience. Now let me address another common concern. Many ask, what if my desire doesn't manifest immediately? What if I don't see results right away? To this I say, patience, my dear friends. Remember, you are dealing with the invisible realm of causes, not the visible world of effects. When a farmer plants a seed, he doesn't dig it up every day to check on its progress. He trusts in the invisible processes of nature to nurture that seed and bring it to fruition. In the same way, once you've planted the seed of your desire in the fire of soil imagination, trust in the invisible processes of creation to bring it to manifestation. Your outer world may not change overnight, but I assure you, the moment you assume a new state of consciousness, things begin to shift. Opportunities arise, circumstances align, people enter your life, all in service of bringing your assumption into physical reality. Your task is simply to persist in your assumption, to maintain the feeling of your wish fulfilled, regardless of appearances, for it is your persistence that demonstrates your faith. And it is your faith that moves mountains. Let me share with you one final thought on this subject. The phrase believe you can and you are halfway there implies a journey, a process of becoming. But I want you to understand that in the realm of imagination, in the world of consciousness, there is no journey. There is only being. When you truly believe, when you fully assume the state of your wish fulfilled, you are not halfway there. You are already there. The outer manifestation of your desire is simply the shadow catching up to the substance of your belief. This understanding liberates you from anxiety, from the constant striving and struggling that characterizes so much of human existence. It allows you to rest in the assurance that what you desire is already yours, already a fact in the realm of consciousness, simply awaiting your recognition and acceptance. So, my dear friends, as we conclude this discourse, I urge you to take these words to heart. Understand that you are not a helpless victim of circumstances, but a powerful creator, shaping your reality through the power of your assumptions and beliefs. Believe you can, yes, but more than that, believe you are. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Live from that assumption. Persist in that state of consciousness, regardless of appearances. And watch as the miracle of manifestation unfolds in your life. Remember, the world is yourself pushed out. What you see and experience is nothing more than the reflection of your own consciousness. Change your consciousness and you change your world. Go forth now armed with this knowledge, this understanding of your true creative power. Apply these principles in your life. Test them, prove them to yourself. For in doing so, you will discover the truth of who you really are. A divine being created in the image and likeness of God, with the power to shape your reality according to your highest ideals and deepest desires. Believe you can, and you are not just halfway there, you are already there, in the realm of pure potential, pure creativity. Your task now is simply to allow that inner reality to express itself in your outer world. Go in peace, go with power, go with the absolute assurance that what you desire is already yours. For in truth, it always has been. You need only to awaken to this reality and claim your divine inheritance. Thank you. And may your life be a living testimony to the creative power that resides within you.